So you nervous?
No.
There's literally no need to be nervous.
I'm just trying to just have a chat, and you can ask me anything.
You literally just sat in my living room, and there's no one else really here. There's nothing else that really matters. There's no equipment or anything like that.
I'm interested to hear this fucking launch question. Have you slept with your mother? No.
So we just go straight into the launch question and then all the anxieties out of the way. All right, so you've done motocross.
Yeah.
You've done, not Muay Thai, done, what was the? Taekwondo.
Yeah.
CrossFit, rugby, MMA. You got an A at A-level. You studied at one of the top 5 business schools in the world. You've done a lot of things.
Yeah.
Which one out of those do you enjoy the most? Which one, if you would only be able to do one and only one, would you crack on with that and not do anything else?
Just one of them?
Yeah, there's one thing. Because I'm kind of like that as well. I've done lots of things and it's really hard to pick one. Like I go through phases of enjoying things.
I don't know, that's based on memory then, no?
Most things are, yeah.
I had very good time doing motocross, and that was for longer. I did that for years.
What ages did you do motocross for?
I started at about 5, stopped at about 15, 16, so did that
for a while?
Yeah. Would go for, is this on now?
Yeah.
Ah, fair. Yeah, we did it for years. My dad would take me to races all around the country.
You actually racing or just spectating?
No, I was racing, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So how did you get into it? Was your dad into it?
Yeah, my dad was massively into it.
What was the first bike that you got?
A PW50.
Oh, I had a PW50.
Yeah. PW50, little blue thing.
Gear.
It's just an automatic, 50cc.
I had a little red one.
Oh, mine was blue.
Yeah. It was my brother's, but he got it for Christmas, and then on the day he got it, he rode into me. I remember getting hit so hard and just flying through the air. I was standing where he was riding up and down the garden, and I thought, well, one day, when the next time he comes past, I'm going to trick him and jump in front of him and see what he does. And he just carried on going, hit me. I just remember flying through the air and landing like 2 meters behind him.
Yeah.
So you had a PW50 first?
Yeah, PW50 first. Then
Did you ever go to the PW80?
No, I got a Kawasaki, and then I had a KTM orange bike, and we were KTM fans for years then, so we always just stuck with KTMs.
What engine size?
We went 65, we raced 65 for a few years, and then we went to 85s, small wheels, so it was split 85cc small wheel, and then you go bigger wheel. Big wheel for like another 2 years, and then after that was 125s.
So when you're at 85, what kind of speeds are these things going at?
I don't know about the speeds, but pretty fucking quick.
Like fast in the car, like say it's 30, 40 miles an hour.
Oh yeah.
And how old are you? You're 5, 6 years old.
No. So at 85s, I was about. At 85s, I was about 14. 14.
As you've been racing for about 9 years then, or quite a while.
Yeah, we didn't race at the start. We were just going around in the fields up in the mountains. When I had my little auto, and then we went up to a practice track by the mountain where my dad lives, and there was a race on the day, and my dad was just like, "Fuck it, just put you in." And I was crying my eyes out because I was scared as shit, and I didn't want to do it. I was really, really young. I did the race, came last but won. My dad was just like, yeah, sick, well done, we'll do this again. And I just carried on racing after that then, ever since.
Did you say you came last but won?
I came last but won in my first race.
What does that mean?
So there's like 40 people racing in your category, and I came last but won. So I was
second last.
Yes.
Right.
Last but
you
won.
said you came last, but you won. And I was like, well, how does that work? You came both last and first.
No, last but won. So I came. Yeah, what's that? Second last.
Second last, yeah. And then you just carried on cracking with it. Did you ever win a race?
Yeah, I was Welsh champion.
You were Welsh champion?
Yeah.
You were Welsh champion at Motocross?
Yeah, did that. Did the Welsh Nationals. Not all the good people were there, but at the race it was the Welsh Championships. But like some went over to the British Nationals and came 7th in that one. But then some people were unreal, and obviously they started getting professional contracts and everything. But it was just like a family thing for us.
Yeah. You got like 13, 14 and guys getting professional contracts.
Yeah, some people starting to get sponsored then. Some people starting to go up. And, just start, like, actual teams like Kawasaki, Yamaha, KTM, all them, they were just, like, picking them up and being like, right, we're gonna sponsor you. We're gonna give you money. You keep on winning your races. You'll be one of our riders. So, and then that's how that happened.
Gee, and then no one approached you for a professional contract.
No.
Even though you're a Welsh champion.
No, it's just a little bit small town compared to some of the like Scottish riders, and
Is that where it's big up north?
Scottish riders are good and English riders. Yeah, they're really good. But there was a good Welshman, and he got a contract, but he had a massive crash not so long ago, damaged his spleen and everything.
Do you ever have a big crash?
Yeah.
Yeah. How many?
I've had loads, absolutely loads, and I'd always. The worst one was I was on my 65, and I was coming around a corner, and the throttle jammed, and my feet came off the pegs, and I was just going down the track, and like a Superman, just like my feet were off the back, and I'm racing, and then there was a horseshoe berm, just like a left corner, and the berm you can just bank the bike and just pin it around. And there was a marshal there as well. So a marshal is somebody who obviously just looks forward along the track, and if anybody crashes, they put out a yellow flag. So when you're coming around and you see the marshal holding up a flag, you know that somebody's crashed. So you got to be careful around the next area. And this woman was just sat, because any random can do it. Obviously, when you have to hold a flag. This woman was sat on the berm, looking down, and I'm coming this way, not looking where I'm going, just trying to hold onto the bike, pinning it. and obviously there's a berm coming around here, and we were right on top of the hill at this part of the track, and just straight up the top, and I nearly knocked her. She had to jump back, and I was just in the air, just flying, and I was like, oh shit. And I was just like, oh no, flat. And my dad said that everybody at the bottom could see, because it could come out the bushes, and then there's just a bike just spinning down the hill, and I'm flying through the air, and the Superman just like, oh no. And I just remember being like, I've been in the air quite a bit now. As soon as I pull my hands out, bang, straight flat to the floor.
Did you break anything?
No, luckily didn't break anything, but I was in agony.
Have you ever broken a bone from?
No, I had a race going from year 6 to year 7. I had a race on the weekend, and I had a massive crash. Did well on the race. Had a massive crash. Didn't break a bone. First day of the summer holidays, from year 6 to year 7, I went rollerblading, went down a hill, broke both my wrists. I was just stuck for 6 weeks. How old? About 12. Just both casted.
Both of your wrists. Just cast in both hands.
Literally went down the hill. Went down the hill.
Summer holidays?
Yeah, rollerblading. Was like, oh no.
It's been the worst summer holidays imaginable.
Yeah, it was shit. My dad was I didn't do it.
Have you ever played the game Edward Ciderhands?
Ciderhands?
Yeah, Edward Ciderhands.
No.
So we used to play at university. You used to get 2 litre bottles of cider. So you play with Buckfast as well, and you duct tape the bottles. To your hands. So you've got no hands. You've just got to drink the cider. You've got to drink one at least fast enough before you have your first piss. Otherwise, you're in a little bit of trouble. You can't get to your fly. So once you finish one, you can take it off, and then you can like undo yourself. But yeah, you basically did that for 6 weeks without the
cider attached
getting
to it.
drunk.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah, but shit. My dad took us to Snowdon for like, oh, we need to get out. You need to get you out of the house. He took us to Snowdon to go hiking, and I was like, this is fucking great. but yeah, that was from year 6 to year 7.
So you did that for 10 years.
Yeah.
Why'd you stop?
It was a lot of money. It's a lot of money, like the sport. My dad would go with like a little van and like a trailer, and we'd just have an airbed, and it was only like a little van, and he kitted out the middle of it so we can just have an airbed if we went to like a 2-day event, and they were like the bigger ones. But the bikes are a few grand, and obviously we did it every weekend, and it's just really, really expensive, and I kind of grew out of it a bit when I was a teenager. But you'd come to these races, and you'd see people with like 50-foot monster truck sort of things, like camper homes with like 4 bikes at the back. One of your bikes pops, and he's just like, oh no, it's fine, I'll just pull out another spare bike. And you're like, this is fucking ridiculous.
A rich man's sport.
Yeah.
So you did motocross for 10 years, and what did you do? What was your next hobby or next obsession after that?
Downhill racing.
Downhill racing, was that just bicycles?
Yeah.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah, so I did...
Natural progression from...
a lot cheaper. But obviously, it was just like a transition over.
The motocross, was that in a circuit or was that a track?
Track.
So it's a track and they have
Jumps and everything. Yeah,
lakes
you go...
and mud patches and...
Not lakes and mud patches or anything. They would... there's different style tracks and everything. Like, obviously, you can go to like very well-made tracks where they're pretty professional racers go there. Big, massive jumps and everything, wide open tracks. And then you can go to another event and it's literally just a bunch of poles stuck in a field. And then they've just made,
How long was like a lap? Or how long does each
it was 10 minutes. And then...
Short, quick
yeah,
bursts,
they're short. So you have 3 races a day. And it was 10 minutes. And once the leader has finished the 10 minutes, so when they're out on the races and the 10 minutes gone, when the leader comes past, they'll put up the last lap flag.
Okay.
So then obviously it's 10 minutes, and then wherever it is at that point, once that's done, it's the last lap.
Did you all go off at the same time?
Yeah, you all start on...
So there's a lot of like jostling and...
Oh yeah, right at the start, yeah.
Yeah.
The
Did you
start...
get to any fights?
No. I got a black flag. A black flag is a disqualification from the entire event. And obviously my dad going in the race and he's like, you need to be gutsy. Obviously, growing up and when you're talking about it, you're like, you need to be gutsy. You need to obviously, elbows high, try and get into it and everything. And my style of racing was I hated those tracks where it was literally just corners everywhere, really tight, niggly. I liked the big open tracks.
It doesn't surprise me at all.
Yeah, big open, just fling it past, pin it all the way sort of thing. And then you have jumps because I like doing the jumps and everything. But I was winning at one of these races on where it was just like a fucking corners everywhere. And a back marker got in my way.
It's a back marker.
You've lapped them. So
Right,
back marker, so you're lapping people.
Slow poke.
Yeah, the slow ones. On these tracks where it's just a field, it is like the racing line. Whereas on these open ones, you can basically do anything. Mm-hmm. And on the racing line, he went off the racing line and then tried to come back. And obviously, I just T-boned him. Just crashed, smashed my bike to pieces, fell on the floor, lost first place. It was really the end of the race. I'm fucking furious. I just ran up to the kid and just decked him. Yeah, I was like, you fucking dick.
What, did he have a helmet on?
Yeah, I hit him in between his body armour. I was a kid.
And punched him in the helmet. I was like, this one guy's going to come up worse there. That's not him.
I know. He was buried under his bike as well.
How old were you at this time?
I was about 14.
Oh, great. This
Yeah, and I
Jake.
ran up, and obviously the field was... you could see everything right from the top. There's obviously the viewing point, and obviously all eyes are on first. And I've had this big crash, and I'm just like, fuck, going nuts. And I just run over to this kid, like Superman jump, decked him.
And loads of bikes just passing you.
Yeah, and I just had to try and run back, get the bike up, and then obviously go around. And I got right to the end, and then the fucking owner just jumped in the middle of the track, put a big black flag up, and was like, off. I was like, oh shit. And I thought my dad was going to go ape shit. And he was like, what the fuck do you do? I was like, I was gutted, I was winning. He was like, nice, but, we're going to have to go now. It's like, oh, sorry. But,
And then downhill?
Downhill was, so I'd always go on the bike. My dad would always say, get on the bike. If you're going to get on motocross, get on a bike. And obviously we'd always go to the mountains, make tracks, just piss about on the bike. And then the few races... just did a few events. That's different. So that's like you just start at the very top of the track. It's timed,
right?
So it's basically quickest to the bottom.
You still wear a helmet and stuff and chest guards and
yeah.
I think I've seen that before. Did a Red Bull sponsor it and they have the little GoPros on the top of the helmet?
Yeah, them stuff. No, they are nuts, but
that does look crazy because it's quite rocky. It's like quite jugged terrain.
Yeah, so we would go up. So me and my mates. So obviously more of my mates did it. Because it is a lot cheaper, and you can just get a push bike and just go pissing about the mountains.
Ample hills in Wales.
Exactly, yeah. There's mountains everywhere. You don't need petrol every single time. Yeah. So we would always go up and camp the night before and just walk down the track and just pick your racing line. And obviously, some of this is just fucking ridiculous. But that was cool. I did enjoy that. That was really good.
Pre-mark where you think you'll ride on your feet as well.
Yeah, so you walk down and you're like, this is the line which I think I'm going to take. And obviously all these roots and rocks are jagged everywhere. And you just think, right, this is the racing line that I want to have. and obviously, or like this is the safe, or because obviously,
And you remember that the next day? You remember?
yeah, you do a couple of laps. We just walk up and down, and you just go in sections, and then obviously we just come back down with the boys and just be like, right, what do you think about this section? And some guys will be like, oh no, I think I'm gonna go on the outside. Just come down wide, and then others are like, no, I'm gonna cut through the top, sort of thing. So you just pick your line and go from there.
And you say loads of your mates did that. So.
Yeah, quite a few of my mates did that. And some of them still do now. I think some of them moved to Canada to do it because it's very big in Canada. Obviously, very another mountainy place. So
Lots of hills.
yeah, lots of hills you can do.
Any broken bones there?
No, didn't do any damage in biking. I didn't do any damage in motocross. Didn't do any damage in downhill or anything. Was the most injured I've ever been in my life from rugby.
Did rugby follow downhill, or were you doing all these things at the same time?
Yeah, so I was always pissing about on the bike all the time, and the races were always on the weekend.
Right. Okay.
And then that's when I got to like year 9 or year 10. I think it was year 9 in school. And one of my mates said, can you play for us on the weekend rugby game? And then I had one game instead when there was no race on for rugby. And then that was pretty much that. It was easier. All my mates are obviously doing rugby in school. And there was only a few of us doing the downhill. But then in school, I had a few rugby games. Had a good game. My first rugby game.
What position did you play in the first one?
Flanker.
You played flank in your first game.
Yeah, flanker.
One of the positions where you've got to do all of the crazy off the ball stuff.
Yeah, just get your fucking head in it.
Yeah.
That's what the coach said. He was like, mate, just get your head in there, make tackles, and that's what you're going to do.
Excellent.
Yeah, no, brilliant. I'll do that for you.
Hey, you got to be everywhere.
Yeah, it was good. And then obviously...
But you'd not learned how to tackle before.
It was in school. So in PE in school, from year 7, they teach you rugby.
Right, okay.
So I knew of it,
Yeah.
but I just never played it. And
How old were you when you had your first rugby game?
15.
I thought Wales was like massively into rugby.
Oh, they are. They were doing it from kids. Every single one on the team.
You just were doing
No, I was doing
motocross
motocross, yeah.
Oh, I got you.
So my dad just put me into the motocross as a very early age.
Were you already quite big? Because you're a big guy now. Were you quite big relative to your mates back then?
No, I was not like the biggest back then.
Yeah.
It was weird because obviously I started about 15. I was tall, skinny. But then about 16, 17, people just fucking shut up. What? So then I got moved to centre.
Oh, so you could.
I got moved to the back centre.
It's small, so we will put you in the centre where typically big people play.
Well, I was
Inside or outside?
inside.
All right, the bigger of the two.
But I just liked the big tackles. I wasn't very so I liked all the cycling, agile balance and everything, but rugby, I could not do anything other than straight line. 12 crash ball straight in.
It doesn't surprise me at all. It's just some similarities between you and rugby and you and motocross as well. Just the open straights. 100%.
Yeah, like NASCAR.
Open the throttle.
Yeah, just go. Just a wide open track. But yeah, I did rugby. I liked it. But that's why I probably stopped as well.
What was the injury?
Blew my knee, the ACL.
Oh, right, yeah.
I broke my wrist in rugby, broke my nose, and the knee was the biggest one that I did. But that was older. That was when I was like 17, 18. Because of rugby, as soon as it kind of took over, I did all these other sports, and that's when I was doing like the martial arts and everything as well. So I always did the martial arts from a very young age.
So you were doing martial arts when you were doing motocross as well?
Yeah, so it was like I said, the motocross was always on the weekends, and my dad would just take me to martial arts twice, or I would go twice a week.
Right, okay.
And through the week.
And you do your gradings, your white belts, yellow
Yeah.
belts, orange belts, green
Yeah,
belts,
do all them,
the way
yeah.
through.
Get all them. I didn't get the black. I got to like 3 away in taekwondo and about 3 away in the kickboxing as well. Never finished, which is a bit annoying.
They're quite a good, easy crossover between kickboxing and taekwondo because they're both like kicky.
Yeah, it was more the martial arts school side of things from the kickboxing. In fact, actually, the owner of the kickboxing school that I did was like a 7th dan in taekwondo. So it was pretty much the same. And his school in Newport, his name's Guy Gasser, probably famous in the world, I know. But his school was a taekwondo school, and then they had the kickboxing school. And the school that I went to was just a leisure centre up the thing. And then I went into taekwondo when I moved up, like into the valleys further. And I moved over, just went stuck to taekwondo then.
So the same dojo.
No, different. Yeah, different one. But I actually had a tournament and fought that Gary Gasser's.
Oh, your
top
previous dojo.
Yeah, the previous dojo. Yeah, that guy. Fought him and popped his nose. Yeah.
You used to do competition fighting.
Yeah, I did a few
From
tournaments.
what age?
Did the tournaments when I was about 14, 15.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
About the time you stopped doing the motocross.
Yeah, literally all the sports that I was doing then, because I was doing swimming as well, every now and then. My dad would take me to swimming. I did a few competitions with Gala swimming.
Really?
Yeah, butterfly and front stroke. Mm-hmm. All of them. I did loads and loads and loads as a kid. And then rugby took over. Yeah, I got to about 15, 16 when I started. So when I was in year 9, I had that first game in like the summer, finishing year 9. And then year 10, I joined the local team. And that took over.
Your rugby in Wales is club-based, not school-based.
It's club-based, yeah. I joined the local club.
We have school-based rugby inside, but you wouldn't join a club until you're out of university, really. So school all the way through from like age of, I think you start in 8, go all the way through till your matric, which is 18, and then 4 years university. You're still part of like a school, and then it's club rugby after that.
It was like that in England as well. Obviously, when I went to the university, I couldn't understand it. Everybody there was just on about what school did you go to for the rugby, and I was like, what?
Everyone, because in your first week of university here, your first team is based on which schools you went to. They ask you which school you played for, and they'll pick the first team. And then if you are in the second or third team and prove to be decent, and you weren't necessarily in the first team because you didn't go to the school that they recognise as good rugby, then they'll move you up over time.
Fucking that's fucking ridiculous. That
it's just a shortcut, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just like a bit of the politics in rugby. It was like fucking, and they all went about it. Then like the Daily Mail Cup or something they went on about in uni. I don't know. But
I don't know. I'd never played school rugby in England, so I don't know.
Well, they all went on about it over here, and but in Wales, it's just club everywhere. They had a few trials. So in England, all the trials to get into like the districts and like the regionals and things like that, they're from the school. Mm-hmm. But we did get from the club. If our club did well, we would get invitations from the club. So it was different. But yeah, rugby took over because when I was 16, obviously you hang out with some of the youth boys, and obviously they're all 18, and obviously down at the local pubs.
How most guys get introduced to drinking.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. And obviously, that just took over. I was hanging out with all the.
Did you ever notice because you were playing for the local rugby team that it was slightly easier to talk to girls?
Yeah, it was like the boys who were the village team. That's all they cared about was rugby back home. And that was it.
The superstar inside centre.
Literally, and obviously it was just a local club team, but a club. The superstar of the village sort of thing. But when you go outside the village, nobody knows you. But they were good times. Obviously, very banterous with obviously all the boys, but. The motocross and the martial arts, the racing, the competitiveness, that was awesome. That was going across country and everything, that was mad. But the rugby was just a laugh. It was just pure banter, pure laughs all the way through.
And you did that up till...
I've always been involved in rugby. I actually love watching it. I will always be involved in that's the only team sport that I've done.
That's the only one?
Yeah, everything else I've done is very individual sports.
Yeah, I suppose, so the pressure's just solely on you. Do you prefer it that way?
Yeah, definitely. So the racing is obviously just yourself.
Yeah,
You've got your team behind you. So my dad was obviously my mechanic and everything. But it's just you out there.
Just before a tournament or just before a race or something like that, do you ever used to get a little bit nervous and think of backing out or anything like that?
No, my dad would always...
You're right with nerves?
Yeah. Some days, obviously, you're on it more than others. Tournaments I was always fine with. Absolutely. Didn't have any issues with them. The races sometimes was. If it was a big one, then obviously the nerves would kick in. But my dad would always say he knew when I was switched on because I just wouldn't talk.
Oh, really? Just in the zone?
Yeah. And he was like... and he said, one day you turned around and just went, I'm going to win today. And then my dad just smiled and walked off. And he was like, he's going to have a good day. Nice. So I just looked there, sat in the window, just looking around. Didn't say anything. I was like, I'm going to win today.
So when you go quiet, that's what I'm going to think.
That I'm fucking on it.
Brewing something.
Yeah, but no, the individual ones.
Do you reckon it was just... Sorry, Karen.
No, I was just saying the individual ones. I like them sports as well because it is just you in there.
Yeah. Did you like those sports because of the competitive angle? Do you think you were kind of addicted to competition in a way?
Yeah, 100%.
Because you do a job now that's...
Sales.
Yeah. Very... quantified, target based.
Yeah.
You're put measured against 100 odd of your peers?
400 odd people.
400 odd people, and you're told if you do well, and it's shown if you don't do well.
Yes.
There's peer recognition if you.
Yeah, you lose the job if you don't do the minimum numbers and stuff. You lose the job after a certain number of months. So yeah, it's fucking brilliant.
It's an absolute meritocracy, isn't it?
Yeah, whatever that is.
You're rewarded based on merits.
Oh, right, merits. Yeah. Yeah. So it's just the more you put in, the more you get out. Which is how like I feel that every day should be.
Yeah. No, a lot of people do feel that way.
Yeah. The more you put in, the more you get out. It's basically self-employed. The job I'm in now. If you think about it, I've got to go in for like the hours and things. But if you was to do it, yeah, the more you put in when you're self-employed, you have to do more.
So just for the people that don't know exactly what you do, you're a mortgage advisor. People ring you up if they're looking to buy a house or they're looking to remortgage their current mortgage, and you'll try and find them the best deal on the market.
Yeah, and try and sell them protection as well.
Sell them the mortgage, sell them life insurance. Yeah, that's basically it, isn't it?
Yeah, basically. But obviously, the company that I work for just goes on pure volume. So yeah, it's phone based. It is in an office, and it's phone based, which is sometimes the shit part. Don't get me wrong, nobody likes working. I like my job just because it is competitive, and obviously when you do well, you feel like you've had a good day. But other days, I am sat behind a fucking desk.
Yeah.
With a fucking headset on. So some days I'm a bit like, this is shit. But other days I'm fucking, I'm coming in, I'm having a good day, and I'm like, right, I'm smashing on the numbers. And obviously and then it'll just end up rewarding you later on. And obviously, it is a good job. It's got great opportunities in it anyway, so it's just landed on my feet really. But I'll take it as it comes.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm.
Is it? What did you imagine yourself doing when you were younger? When you were say 5 years old, what did you
Pilot.
Want to be? You wanted to be a pilot.
Yeah.
Not a very competitive job.
It is definitely
Pilot.
Yeah, you'll have like the top dogs. What is it? What are the red ones? The red arrows.
Oh, you mean like in the RAF?
Oh yeah, the
I thought you
RAF.
meant like a commercial pilot.
Oh no, I don't want that. That's fucking chilled. That.
Commercial pilot.
This is your captain speaking.
Yeah,
I would not be that guy.
No, I want to be in a plane with you trying to race. Open the throttle down.
Yeah, we'll see how quick we can get there. But no, I always wanted to be a pilot in the RAF. That was like my dream. Like literally,
Fighter pilot.
Yeah, the first things I remember, like when I was as a kid in school, I was like fighter pilot.
What was that drew you to that? Was it flying? Was it being in the RAF, or was it the competition?
All of it, the forces,
uniform.
Yeah, being all fucking prim and proper. The forces is just pretty cool anyway. And to be a fucking fighter pilot, I loved all the war films, and flying a fucking super jet engine, just pinning around, and obviously, Maverick like.
Do you know quite a bit about engines because from the motocross stuff?
Not a thing.
Nothing.
Not a thing.
If it was broken, you'd just give it to your dad and say, "Fix it."
My dad literally would say to me, he was like, "I don't want you to care about anything else,
just racing,
other than the racing."
It was a serious endeavour for him as well, wasn't it?
He loved it. That's why. That's why his house. He never did a thing for the house. And obviously he had his wife. Loving family by all means. But it was always on the racing. We would always go to the racing. That was it. He would be through the week in between races. He would strip my bike down, fucking nuts and bolts, and clean everything, and then put it right back to where it was every single week.
It's dedication.
And he was working 4 on, 4 off. Yeah, like you got to admire it. And obviously, as a kid, you don't realize it as such. But looking back on it, you just think, "Fucking hell!" Like that was, I look back and I appreciate it more looking back. But at the time when I was a kid, it's like, "Oh, fix it." Fucking
yeah,
it's broke.
Whose decision was it to call quits on motocross?
More mine. Obviously, he wanted to do it. He always wanted to do it all the time, but I was just a bit like, I don't really want to. I kind of said to him, I just grew out of it and obviously got into the rugby, like I said, got into that, and I was just hanging out with my friends, getting older, started drinking. Like I said to him, I'm not really. Just grew out of it. A lot of people do.
He took that okay?
No. No, he didn't take it well.
Because that's, I imagine, a big part of his life and a hobby that he's followed for years.
He loved it as a kid, and he would obviously inspire. He'd just go on about. He'd be like, "I'd be losing dreams over this and stuff," and it was awesome to listen to. But at that age, I just realised, well, that's not what I like.
Did he race?
No, never raced. He'd used to just go over the. He'd just go over the mountains and everything.
So where did his passion for
Bikes come in.
Yeah, and where does passion for racing come in?
Just the competitiveness of the racing, but his bikes came in. He's always had bikes. He's got road bikes.
When he was a kid, did he
Yeah,
have
he's
bikes?
always had
So
two
was it
wheels.
a thing that him and his dad did?
No, his dad hated him.
Oh, right.
Nah, my
Hated
dad
him?
Yeah, he was just like, oh, for fuck's sake. My dad had to beg him for 9 months to get the bike of his dreams or something, the Scrambler.
His dad hated biking.
Well, no, he wanted him to go out. He was just like, I'm not doing it. Like, I'm not. My granddad was he was like not an owner, he was like a manager or something of the mines. He never went down, but he was like the area manager. So he was my granddad, clean shaven, suited, everything like that, to the pen, like so prim and proper. And my dad was just a little fucking shit, just wanted to go on the bikes all the time. And he was just like, no, I'm not doing this. And my dad was like, come on, give me the bike. And he got on the bike then, and that was it. Fucking left in the bits.
Does he still ride, your dad?
Road bikes, yeah. And he does cycling all the time, goes on the mountains, because obviously that's what my brothers do now as well. So they're much younger than me, but they
do downhill.
They do motocross and just cycling everywhere. Honestly, we live on the right at the top of the mountain, and you just look out, it's fucking hills. So what we would do on the bikes, we would just go down. My dad would be like, right, here's an axe, here's a shovel. And he was just like, just go have fun, just go up the mountains, and then just fucking.
Why an axe and a shovel? What are you doing with an
Make
axe?
a track.
Right.
So go on the mountain, and we would just make a track. And there was one mountain that nobody had been on, sort of thing, and like the council would come down and just strip everything as well. They'd just wipe it all flat, and then we'd have to go find another place and do it again. And there was one time we were up there, and these trees were fucking huge. They were massive, right? And obviously we were pissing about making the track, having a good day on the bikes, and then we were like, fuck it, should we cut down a tree? Obviously, these trees are fucking important to the council. You're not allowed to chop these trees down.
Why did you want to cut down the tree?
Because it was fucking huge. We had an axe.
1 plus 1 equals 2.
We were like, should we cut down a tree? Yeah, this is going to be great. So we were hacking at this tree for ages, and this tree was not small. You know, it was huge. The circumference must have been massive, and we were there for ages, and then we just were like, fuck this, let's get back on the bikes, piss about on the bikes again. We did it for ages and ages and ages, and we finally got to it, to the point where we're whacking it and running away. And one guy stood behind the tree, obviously trying to put the weight on it so it doesn't fall anyway, and we could try and guide it.
So you have no experience in cutting down trees?
Absolutely not. We were about 14, 15.
New endeavour for you, like, excellent.
It was about 70 foot tall. It was huge.
Jesus.
Oh, it was not cuttable down. You couldn't do it. You're not allowed to. And we were there for ages, hacking it, and we got right at the very end, and obviously the sound this bark was making, it was when it was breaking, and you can just hear it, and we had it on video on like one of the old Nokias or something. Fucking brilliant. And
Did it eventually fall?
Yeah. So we were all running away on the mountain, and on the floor. It was amazing. And then we couldn't do anything. Just a tree led in the middle of in the forest.
I thought you were like cutting it down to build a track, or
We put a jump over it, but it was just a huge. There's this mountain part had a massive gap in it, a massive open area, and we just cut one of the edges of the trees down. So then, in this huge open area, there was just a big tree led on the side of the mountain, and we were like, oh.
fucking youths.
But Dad was like, right, not on the street corners, you can't be meddling around there. And we're like, oh fuck it, we've got the mountains then.
This is the valleys.
Yes.
It's the valleys, and when you're a teenager in the summer months with nothing to do.
Yes.
So I watched the TV show The Valleys. Have you seen it?
Yeah.
That's the same reaction Geordies have to. I watched Geordie Shore. And they go,
Yeah, that was shocking. Obviously a follow on from Geordie Shore, but
So is it anything like?
no, they all say they've never been to Cardiff, and they're a stone throw away. They're like, oh, we've never been to Cardiff. We want to go to Cardiff and experience it because we're all from the valleys. The one of them, honestly, is closer to Cardiff than I am, and I was in Cardiff all the fucking time. She's like, never been to Cardiff before. Like, oh, shut up. And obviously, the way the valleys is back home, obviously all the main roads are around the mountains. So obviously to get to, as the crow flies, from me to Cardiff is not far at all, but I have to go round all the mountain, down on the motorway and all the way around. She lives on the other side of the valley to me, and there was a lane, like the country roads, which just went straight there to Cardiff. It was literally about 15 minutes. And obviously,
She spends every weekend in Cardiff.
yeah, with the tits out.
Do you reckon is Cardiff more like the Valleys than the Valleys? You know what I mean? Like, you know, the Valleys, the TV show was like quite. It was like Geordie Shore.
Yeah.
Is it like that in the Valleys, or what's Cardiff like for a night out?
Cardiff for a night out was nice. It's more like that in the Valleys. Valleys was...
Oh, is it?
Yeah, the Valleys is nuts. It's
What's
just
Cardiff like?
really good city. Obviously, the game days were the best. They're the best days ever to go out.
Autumn Internationals?
No, Six Nations.
Six Nations.
Yeah. There was we had a caretaker in our school who was quite high up in Cardiff Blues.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
He was like manager of the grounds of our school, sort of thing. So he wasn't like a caretaker. Mm-hmm. He was manager of the grounds, and every single year he would always be able to get tickets, like loads of them, and they were like £20 odd. They weren't good seats, but they were behind the posts all the time.
Right. Yeah.
But at least you get to go there.
£20 for an international is not bad, especially Six Nations.
Yeah, it was awesome. So every year we'd have a few tickets there for about 4 years, and then he left. And then,
I'd love to go to. It's got a Millennium Stadium.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Now called the
Principality
Stadium.
That's a fucking nuisance. That everybody in uni, everybody was like,
No
"Isn't
one-
Wales a principality?"
No one likes it when stadiums are renamed. The original name is always the best.
It is the
one.
Millennium Stadium. That's how I'll always know it. Anyway, I think it's only the Principality for the sponsorship or people who own them, or the Principality Bank or something like that.
Oh, I don't know.
No, I don't know, but Cardiff's mint on a night out.
So you left Wales and not far from Cardiff. What, when you were 18?
No, I was 21 when I went to uni.
Oh, that's right. You spent a few years in between in Birmingham.
Mm-hmm.
What did you do during those years?
Birmingham was sick. I was not I always wanted to be a pilot.
So how far is Birmingham away from Cardiff?
Not far, it's about an hour, something
Okay,
train.
so you're near home at this point, yeah.
Yeah, I was living in a hotel for 6 months in Birmingham.
A hotel?
Yeah.
Company paid for the hotel?
No.
You just rented a hotel?
No. It was like a day rate contract. So the job I was doing was a mortgage complaint handler. I was 19 at the time. I absolutely blagged my way into this job. Like
You were what? Sorry, what was the title of the job?
mortgage complaint handler.
And you were 19.
Yeah, it was pretty fucking serious. I had to write letters and everything at the time, and I was just trying to.
What would people write to you about?
So no, it was like I don't know, like the.
What would people complain to you about? Sorry.
Basically, I was doing it for RBS and NatWest, and I think a lot of the complaints was when people were trying to switch their rates, and then they reverted to the standard variable rate, and they didn't.
What's this? 2007, 2008.
No, this was 2012.
Okay, so a while after the financial crisis, a while after the whole mortgage scandals happened.
Yeah. But it was like a time. So a load of the complaints were, 2 minutes is it? Loads of the complaints were, trying to switch rates. So your fixed rates ending, and then obviously you would go onto a new deal before you go on the standard variable rate, which is obviously a lot higher, and they just didn't do it in time.
Yeah.
And the financial regulation says that you need to finish a complaint within 56 days or something like that.
Okay.
And we was working on a backlog, so that's all my job was. But it was a contract, so it was a day rate, £200 a day. I was 19.
Jesus.
I didn't know what money like I was.
£200 a day at 19.
I was just like fucking,
Straight from the valleys.
it was fucking great.
Earning £1,000 a week. What did you do with all that money?
Fucking blow it. I had a 6 months. It was amazing. So I had to, and I get all my expenses paid for because I'm classed as self-employed. Mm. And then,
so you got your hotel paid for by the company?
Well, yeah, I'd have to buy the hotel and show them a ticket, and it'd come out my tax, and I was getting taxed about like 80 quid, and then a week, and I was getting paid weekly on a Thursday, just before Friday when I come.
You can deduct your costs.
Yeah, you can deduct everything. So my food, I was given £5 for breakfast, £20 for lunch, £25 for dinner, no receipts. Oh, I definitely spent all that. But I obviously spent I'd say to them, I spent £5 on breakfast and 20, all of it. I didn't have to show receipts.
So a 19-year-old in Birmingham earning £50,000 a year, you must have had some pretty sick times. What did you do? What were the crazy?
Basically, just go shopping all the time. Just went on holidays.
Shopping.
Oh, it was amazing. I went shopping.
This lovely silk scarf. So you were in Birmingham for 6 months.
Yeah,
and then what did you do after Birmingham?
Came back home to resit my A levels.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, to resit my A levels and then to go to university.
And what A levels did you do? We were talking about this earlier. You did maths.
Did maths. I finished with 4. In sixth form, I did maths, business studies, and design technology. And in year 12, I did media, but obviously dropped down for then year 13. I did the final things. So then when I did school, finished that, got a job as a call centre because I wanted to go to the RAF. And then that's when I blew my knee and I couldn't go to the RAF.
Right.
So then I got a job.
This is a rugby injury.
Yeah, the big rugby injury.
Okay.
Then I got just a job on $7.50 an hour in a call centre, PBI complaints. And then I got the job in Birmingham.
You ever seen that TV program on Channel 4 called The Call Centre?
No.
Oh, it's about this Welsh call centre. That's just what I picture you, the people you working in a PPI.
Yeah.
It's like great fun.
No, it was shit. $7.50 an hour, and then nice.
So where did you go to? Where did you go to uni?
Durham.
You studied
Economics and finance.
economics and finance in Durham.
Yeah.
It's one of the top business schools in the world.
Yeah. Didn't think of it at the time. I literally applied. So in in college, when we was applying, I applied, started for accountancy.
Why did you want to?
Fuck no! So I thought you could make
What
money.
did you want to be?
I just wanted to just make money. Just do well.
Yeah,
There was no actual point where I'm gonna be like, right, I want to be a lawyer. I want to be an accountant. There was nothing of that.
This is
12.
So
No, 13.
5 years after the financial crisis, where everyone within finance and accountancy's reputation's been dragged through the mud for being a prick.
Clue. I had no clue. I just thought accountants make money. Let's apply for accounting and finance
At Durham.
Well, yeah. So I applied for accounting and finance, but then the universities that I did it for, it was not many who did it. There was Durham, Bristol, Leeds, and then the other one I applied for was University of West of England. But I applied for 2 courses in Durham. So I applied for Durham twice, University of West of England, Bristol, and Leeds. And Leeds and Bristol declined me. And Durham gave me a conditional offer if pardon me, if I get an A in my maths, which I did.
That was all the condition. You just needed an A. And then
They wanted a B in my media because I picked that one back up. So for the one which I dropped in year 12, when I went to college, I had to do 2 courses. So I just picked up the one that I dropped in year 12 when I was back in school. So they said you need an A and a B, but I got an A and a C, just fucking media, and I went to do accountancy. So they didn't give a shit. So, yeah.
An A in A-level maths is no mean feat. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah, I did work hard at it, and then I got to, and then I just applied. I had no idea about Durham. Didn't know that it was this big university. Didn't know anything about it. Nobody gave a shit about that in Wales back home.
Yeah.
Nobody like there was. Don't get me wrong. There were a handful of people who were really, really on it for school, and they wanted to go to all these universities. And some of them went to Cardiff. They went to, city universities is what I knew of. I knew Newcastle, Manchester, Liverpool, all these big cities. My girlfriend at the time went to Liverpool University as well. I had no clue about Durham. Never heard of it.
Yeah, it's pretty much only known for its university, and like its old town. I only know it for its university, but I'm not really from here. But yeah, the business school is one of the best in the world, especially for their accounting and finance section. It's where a lot of the people who can't get into Oxford and Cambridge go. People will hate me.
People.
Yeah,
Nah.
people will hate me for saying that, but it's kind of people who Oxbridge back up typically.
100%.
Still an incredibly good business school though.
I experienced that. That was one of the chats we would always say. So some of the people in there, I didn't care about it, but some people did sound sour about not getting into Oxford.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and you were like, ha. Like, whatever. But yeah, I didn't know about it. I didn't realise it was that good. And then, I got there, and it was an eye-opener.
Yeah.
It was a bit of a shock, to be honest. I didn't feel comfortable in it at all. Hated
But
it.
you would have been a little bit older at this point. What were you, 20?
21.
21.
21 when I was in freshers.
So you're going in when other people are 18, 19 or so. That in itself is a bit different.
Yeah, it's a bit weird. I was just a bit like, oh.
And people there from, what kind of background are they from?
Private school.
All of them, or was there a private school section and then there's a kind of a
No,
mixed?
a lot of them.
Yeah.
There was very, very small amount of people who were not privately schooled. It was very, very privately schooled. Just that background, you know, obviously, and that was with the shock. I had no fucking clue about this uni thing. I literally, honestly, just went to be like, I don't know, accountancy, so I fucking do that.
And how did you find studying accountancy when you were there?
No shit, I changed. I fucking hated it. I changed over to
Accountancy's boring, man.
yeah, I changed over to economics and business finance. So like micro, macro.
Slightly more interesting stuff.
Yeah, stuff which is relevant a bit more. But yeah, like these people, they obviously some of them. So the thing is, what I'll say, there are a lot of people with these backgrounds. They are like some of them. Well, my mates who I lived with, they were sound. I absolutely loved them to bits. They were just all about sports, which was great. Great to go
Also,
on.
private school.
Yeah, all of my housemates were privately schooled. They just cared about sports. They didn't give a fuck about where I was from or anything like that. That's awesome. But some people, when you're in an environment like that, they've never had to need anything. They've never had to ask for anything. You know, it's been very fucking easy for them, and they are idiots. And I just felt, and there was a split between a lot of people like that, who, you know, I was like, why am I fucking around this place? Why am I in this place where you haven't got a clue? You don't need to do anything.
Yeah,
it's fucking easy for you. And then I was surrounded by other people who wanted to be in Durham University. They wanted to be there. They were revising. They were doing all the work. I honestly just went there just to have a fucking piss up.
well, those other guys that hadn't ever been tested. Did you think they didn't really want to be at Durham?
What do you mean tested?
You said there were two types of people: the guys that wanted to be, the guys that didn't.
Yeah.
But you didn't quite put it like. I was just wondering if there was a crowd there that necessarily didn't want to be at Durham.
No, not necessarily. I didn't mean like some people wanted to be at Durham because if they weren't at Durham, that was it. I meant they wanted to go down the educational route.
Right. Okay. They wanted to better themselves. They wanted
to go down that educational route. They wanted to, you know, they in school they were like, I'm gonna go to university. I'm gonna go down this path. They knew that was the path. Like I chose university out of a whim when I was in Birmingham because somebody said you can get this as a permanent job if you go to university, get a degree. I was like, oh fuck it, all right. Literally just off the cuff, I was like, oh yeah, I'll do a fucking life-changing thing.
So to say that again, you were in Birmingham and someone came to you and said you could do what you were doing there.
Well, essentially the money. The guy,
you can earn 50 grand a year
the guy
plus.
was like, you know, this is really good, but there's contracting. And he was like, you have no job security. So obviously, literally, they actually did it to some of the people who I started with. Tapped them on the shoulder, took them around the corner, didn't see him again. Just some guy came around, packed up all this stuff. All they do in contracting is they would pay you 5 days worth of your salary and just tell you to be on your way.
You got no notice.
Yeah, so no notice. So basically, one of the guys just turned around, and obviously your contract would roll, and you have to keep on applying and move around everywhere. And just one of the guys said, so they were all older than me, all of them older than me. He just said, if you went to university, got a degree, there's a good chance you can get a job like this permanently. And I was like, oh, all right, sound. So that's when I decided to quit, going from 52k at 19, having a blitz of a time. It was great, but quit, go back to A levels.
God, that must have been
shit.
a crash down to reality.
Going from that
to the northeast of England to be a student after earning 52 grand a year in Birmingham.
Well, that was probably another reason why I hated university.
Yeah.
Like, I loved university in bits of it, but I wasn't for me. I didn't like it. I wasn't there to study like I said some of these people were. They knew they were doing it. They're happy with that lifestyle.
You get some driven fuckers, yeah.
Yeah, whereas I was just there, just fucking lackadaisy.
I think if you're going, especially Durham, which I mean, I've never been to, I don't know, but I imagine quite demanding to do any of the kind of business roles. If you're going in there not really realizing what you've got ahead of you, especially third year, you're not going to have a good time. Like it's a big undertaking, isn't it?
Yeah, it was just an eye opener. It was just really, really weird. Like it was just like, oh.
So what did you do if you didn't enjoy the university there? What did you do?
I mean, I got fucking pissed a lot. I took out. This is the thing as well. Uni, I got in so much fucking debt. So much debt. Not uni debt, not student loan debt. I mean, fucking. I took out a student overdraft, two of them.
Of course, you've been earning 50 grand a year before.
Yeah, and I went
like money's easy. I'll earn more later.
That's probably what I was sat in there going, I was on fucking this and I was 19. My fucking year learning about this, which I don't give a shit about. But yeah, I took out 2 student overdrafts, took out a credit card, maxed them out in the first term, first year. Jesus. I had a great time.
No regrets.
It was none at all. It was amazing. Absolutely bliss.
I think we're ready to end it there. Jake, thanks very much for doing this.
No worries. We're gonna go for any more.
I'm sure we'll have episode 2, episode 3 at some point. Jack, the producer, behind the mic. Thanks very much.